Live from New York, it is the Coffee Club with your host, Felix.
And Dr. Mark.
Who is still coughing.
A sick Dr. Mark.
Sick Dr. Mark, but a loyal Dr. Mark.
Yes, I wouldn't miss this for the world. We have loyal listeners that we have to attend to.
And that was a delayed music of the start of the show.
That's right. I think we should explain that this time the mistake was not on our part, but personal problems, sick relative set in, and Felix couldn't get on time, so we had to reschedule our time starting now at 9:30. Remember, you can reach us at 646-595-3275.
And obviously, I'm sorry, you could also email us.
Oh, yes, you can do that. Why don't you tell them where they can email us?
You can email us at Marc, M-A-R-C, at ccradionetwork.com. I almost forgot. And Felix at ccradionetwork.com. And if you still have our old email, Marc or Felix at truckingtoheaven.com, that'll work also.
We've been so many different things already. We feel like nomads. Nomads travel from place to place. Well, Felix and I have been in just about any virtual radio network possible. But we seem to have reached our little niche at CC Radio Network, Blog Talk Radio, and Spreaker. We're very happy. But today's topic, artificial insemination, right?
That is correct. Artificial insemination by intelligence. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I just glanced at it quickly.
Yes, artificial insemination by robots, human beings.
Well, as I said many months ago when we were talking about something almost similar to this, Carol Kapek, Karel Kapek, wrote a story called Rossum's Universal Robots, RUR. And it tests this very idea about how far androids can go. We've seen the programs on TV. I think it was either Almost Human or Human Being. I'm not sure which one the new one is. These androids for the future look just like you and me, except that they are robots. And, of course, the difference now between an android, an artificial intelligence, and humans is that humans can reproduce. So at the end of this Carol Kapek story, that's basically how they leave it. They sort of leave it up in the air, but that the human and the android involved are going to see if it is at all possible and feasible for the android to reproduce. So, but right now, if you have a new car, they can track you no matter where you go because your new car has GPS in it. So, if there are any husbands and wives who are thinking of cheating on their respective spouses, I don't know if I'd do that if I were you because it's very easy to find out where you are,
And where you've been.
Exactly. But seriously, we have these cameras on a lot of street corners. If you watch Person of Interest, they're constantly tracking the movements of people, to catch a perpetrator or whatever.
Well, this is basically a fiction show until NSA came out with what they're doing.
And that's exactly what they're doing. At what point is it too much?
Yeah.
At what point take the NSA, for example. At what point are they going too far? They don't even have the capability. They've already admitted they don't have the capability to store all of this information. It would take volumes. It would take buildings to house all this information. Excuse me. So, I mean, when does it stop? Where does it stop? This is basically what we're going to be discussing today.
It is?
Yeah, but I like that insemination part.
That's what I thought we were going to talk about.
That's the only reason I tuned in. Oh, I didn't tune in. I'm here.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason I'm here.
I don't understand. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, and by the way, I'm doing this on my own for no other reason than to clear the air. It has come to my attention.
Oh, yeah.
What?
What? What's come to your attention? I'm sorry.
It has come to my attention that one of our esteemed loyal listeners was upset with me because
he was one of the listeners upset with you, and that's
and I apologize for any misinformation that might have transpired between us. That's all. I just wanted to come out and say that. In between calls.
I take your apology. I accept your apology.
Oh, well,
I'm not a caller. Wait a second.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, can I have my raise?
Of course. You're due for one anyway.
I certainly am.
But I did want to say something. This show really is not about... it's about... It's about people like me who can't talk anymore, so we're going to be replaced by robots who can talk. But the whole show is the idea of the advancement of robots and computers and the technology. It is getting to a point where I think more and more people are going to become people of leisure. In other words, they're going to be laid off and not be able to work and have no money.
They used to say that another difference between these super or mega computers and people is that people can think and reason. But now they make computers that can think and reason. I mean, when you play chess against the computer, or as they did on Jeopardy, when they had these champions play against the computer can think and reason. And at what point does it stop? Or can it stop? I mean, we're having these machines do everything for us now. We're going to become a society of lazy, complacent people.
Well, I think what's worse than that, it's going to help the big companies where they can lay off more people and have more efficiency. But what are the people going to do that are being laid off?
Well,
the company's not going to continue paying them.
At what point is it? At what point do you? You need one computer and maybe a skeleton crew of humans. And I think of a Twilight Zone episode, the original Twilight Zone with Rod Serling about Mr. Whipple. Okay, I forgot the name, but I know that Mr. Whipple was in the title. His supercomputer even replaces him. He was the one who invented the computer, and the computer does everything.
Yeah.
They just needed one or two humans, and that was it. So, I mean, yes, they're doing all these things, but people are being, the jobs are being outsourced to the machines, and these people are either too old to be retrained. What do they do?
Well, look at some of the pictures that are flashing across while you're watching. These robot plants that make cars. Used to be human beings used to do that work.
On the assembly line in Detroit, yeah. That's right.
Now it's robots. What happened to those people? There was not enough work for people. That's why Detroit went bankrupt. There's just not enough going on there.
There aren't enough workers to pay into the pension system. And the sad thing is that while municipal employees have retired on a set
pension plan.
Thank you. Without workers to contribute to the pension plan, They don't have the money to pay these people, and they have to renegotiate, these contracts. Now, we're not talking big bucks here, people. We're talking about people who are retired on $18,000 or $25,000 a year, which by today's standards is really peanuts. It's nothing. If you supplement that with Social Security, you barely eke out, enough money to pay rent or a mortgage and buy food and pay auto insurance and whatnot, So, I mean, it's just a sorry and sad state of affairs. And this is what's happening. Governors all over the country are trying to do away with as few municipal employees as they can. Teaching jobs are now going to charter people. They're not even hiring through the union anymore, because what happens is these charter teachers who are hired to work in regular public schools are not paid for holidays. They don't have to pay them sick time. And they're not contributing to a pension system.
Well, I know you're very much into the unions, and since you're retired from the teachers,
well, and
I'm
also interested in it because my daughter in Ohio, she's a speech pathologist, but she has to work 2 jobs in order to make up 40 hours worth of work, running back and forth from one job to another. And she can't get a job in a school system in Ohio because, as I said, they're not hiring. She could get a job as a contract teacher, a contract worker, but then she doesn't get paid for the summer. She's not contributing to a pension system. She may get a little bit more salary-wise than a beginning teacher might get, but the beginning teacher is getting so much more in benefits.
Well, you know, I think the benefits the unions have been getting were just too excessive, in my opinion.
Well, speaking as a union person, I would say that they're necessary, but from a business point of view where there is no union, I could understand why some people might complain, but in a business setting, you're paying somebody X number of thousands of dollars more, which compensates for not having a union. And out of that money, people are supposed to purchase medical, invest in an IRA account, a retirement account, So I understand the discrepancies. Municipal employees, you were never going to get rich as a civil servant or a government employee, but at least you knew you had a job, and at least you knew you had benefits. Well, and now you don't even know if you have that by the time you retire.
Well, in the New York system, which is what you're familiar with, what's the starting pay for a teacher?
Oh, I hate to tell you, when I started...
No, I don't care when you started.
You mean now?
That was before they had the dinosaurs were not even extinct yet when you started.
We used to write on slates. The Flintstones, with the hammer and... right now, a teacher with a bachelor's degree probably earns about not even $40,000
to start.
Not even.
But the same as a policeman.
But a policeman reaches top salary in 5 years. 5.5 years, an ordinary patrolman reaches his top salary, minus longevity payments, or if he becomes a sergeant or whatever the case may be. My nephew is now a police officer for 5.5 years, so he just reached the maximum salary. What it is, I can't exactly say. I don't know. But it's over $100,000. That much I do know. As a teacher, I worked 32 years. And I never even came close to earning $100,000
What's
a year.
the top pay
and that
now?
was 10 years ago.
Now what's the top pay?
Top pay for a teacher, I believe right now, is slightly over $100,000.
And
that's with a master's degree plus 30 credits. Okay? Of course, there are longevity payments along the way. There's an 8-year longevity payment, a 12-year longevity payment, and then a 20-year longevity payment, and then a 25-year longevity payment. After that, it stops.
Okay. Does that longevity payment is included in that 100,000 or is it top?
That would be including all the longevity payments. In other words, when you're teaching 8 years, let's say they give you $2,500 additional. Okay. When you're teaching 12 years, they may give you another 25.
But in between that, you've also been getting raises every year.
Only what's been contracted through the union. And I don't have to tell you, with the cost of living the way it is, teachers, many times, I remember my salary being frozen for 4 years because we sign a 3-year contract and then...
Okay, while you're coughing, I'm going to answer a call.
Oh, we have a call?
We have a call. And this is Felix. And who's speaking?
Felix, Dr.
Hello?
Marc.
Hey, is this Mr. Dan?
Dandy Dan.
Yeah, well, you say that, some say Dapper Dan, but Mr. Dan is fine.
Diver Dan. How about Diver Dan?
Diver
Baron
Dan.
Barracuda. Remember? Oh, yeah. I forgot. You're a kid. You remember Baron Barracuda?
No.
Cartoons on after school. Now I was talking to Felix because he's closer to my age.
Yeah, well,
you're old enough to be my son.
You got to remember, I wasn't brought up in this country, so
that's true. You weren't.
I'm a illegal immigrant.
Well, look, guys. What I'd like to talk about is you guys are you're hot tonight with the other topic too, but. I saw a movie about...
Oh, you like that? Artificial insemination?
Well, insemination,
That's real artificial insemination.
Well, I don't...
Look at those pictures. You see it right there.
On that one, but artificial AI, intelligence. I just saw a fantastic movie called Her. It's in the movies, and it's about how...
Yes.
I don't know if you saw it, but it's scary. The guy who fell in love with a woman on the computer. And it's nothing new. I mean, this has been happening for years. And a programmed computer talking to a human, and the computer started, have feelings. And too much. You gotta watch it. It's so weird for me to describe to your show. But, the guy fell in love with the computer program. I'm talking about sex and all, Mark. It was strange. But
well, it was implied, I believe. Am I correct?
No, it was not implied. It was there. She was a computer program, and she ordered him a call girl. And they...
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, it was. I couldn't describe it to you. You gotta see it. I went with my father, and we saw it in the movie theater, and it was just too weird to describe because it reminds me of back in the day with Space Odyssey. You guys remember Hal? You saw that movie?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So Hal, but it was a little
Hal
different.
9000 computer.
Yes, right. So Hal, but it was a little different though because this got a little closer to human touch. And this woman, he called her anytime she wanted, and she called her anytime, and they got involved, sexually, and they got involved in everything. And just amazing how AI is got, the movie was amazing. Strange, but amazing. So
Felix, go ahead.
You have to watch it. It's hard for me to describe this woman who he fell in love. He was married. This guy, Joaquin Felix, as you know, is an actor. He got his program, and he fell in love with this woman. But the voice was real. She can sense when he was in trouble, can sense when he was sexually active, can sense when he was mad, upset, and she knew what to do and say. So she sent the woman. I don't want, if you don't watch the movie, I don't want to ruin for you guys. But
you're not only rooting for us, but you're rooting for a whole audience of 2 people.
Well, I'm gonna keep going anyway. I'm on a roll here.
That's okay. Keep going.
She sent this computer program, a woman, a nice voice, a female voice, and she sent a woman, I guess call girl if you want to call it, to him. And she said, "That's me now, being with you." She got her feelings. It kind of reminded of Hal, with the Space Odyssey. He started to feel feelings, and then this computer program. So
I was going to say, Felix got a woman for me, but it turned out to be a blow-up doll.
Well, they're fun too. Those are fun, Dr. Mark. They're fun too. They're called Never Say Never Susie dolls.
Oh, well, because they never say never or they have a headache.
Well, yeah. So it was just to parallel the time. I mean, this is where we're going as far as our technology. I don't think we went far enough because we are really. I mean, that movie was really bizarre. Great. I recommend
that movie also.
My father and I watched it. We're just like scratching our heads and saying, "What is going on?" Because it's like, wait a minute, this guy fell in love with a computer program.
Well, firstly, it's a fiction.
He loved it. They had sex online, and she sent him a computer, a girl. She ordered, an online girl for him.
Yeah.
For him.
Well, if you think all the professionals tell you, that the biggest sex organ is the brain, okay, and that it's sex, while it's physical, yes, it's also cerebral, and you can put yourself in a state of mind, which is obviously what Joaquin Phoenix did when he was interacting with his computer, that it's probably, I guess the best sex you're ever going to have.
Who knows?
You're right. The sad part of the story was that he was able to. I mean, hopefully this is not, again, like Space Odyssey. The voice was different. That Space Odyssey was more of a computerized voice, Hal. But this
you're talking about 1968 as opposed to 2014. Okay, so computers sounded like computers. Right. Androids today sound very human when you speak to them.
Well, listen, they can sound like anything you want.
The sad part was that the devastation. I mean, I almost cried at the end of the movie because after Joaquin Felix, he fell in love, and she hired call girls for him, like saying that that's her being with him, but at the end, what happened was, I hate to say to your listeners, I don't want to ruin the movie for you guys, but I'm going to.
So don't say it.
No,
you did already, so don't worry about it.
I'm going to.
I know that.
You know what? I'm not going to lose. You guys watch the movie. So anyway.
Boy, you're such a tease.
I can't believe
what
that.
What a tease.
That's what my wife says, too.
Well,
listen. I mean, obviously this movie is a fiction. But the reality...
Wait a minute, Phil. I disagree with you on that. That's not fiction.
It's not fiction?
No, it's not a fiction.
I don't think it's... No, not like it's not going on the way you're describing it, obviously.
Well, no.
Well, I don't know.
It's the idea, Felix. It's not. It's the movie is a fiction, obviously. It's not based on facts, but it's the idea that scares all of us.
No, well, what I was going to say before you so rudely interrupted me, Mr. Dan, the man
Sorry.
that yes, this movie, this movie is a
It's an
fiction.
Academy
It's a
Award
fiction.
nominated movie.
It's a fiction, but at the same time, our computers and our artificial intelligence has brought us so close that it could become reality, which is what I was going to say.
I wonder if Anne Hathaway is going to be nominated for an Academy Award for her voice. You know.
What I was saying is that this could possibly happen in the future. That's all.
Well,
Maybe not today, but
I think it's already here, guys. I mean, I can on my cell phone. My parents got new cell phones. You don't have to type anything anymore. The voice activated. You can just talk into the phone and say, "Hey, I don't know here. I want help."
Dan, I don't know if you're a fan of The Big Bang Theory.
Of course I am.
Okay, it's on. Okay, a lot of my daughter turned me on to that show. You know, Naj Koothrappali has trouble talking to women, but when he got a smartphone, he fell in love with Siri. He fell in love with her voice. You know, I mean, he has since gotten over his shyness with women, and he can now talk to them. But it used to be he had to have a few drinks in him before he could converse with a woman, you know. But, I mean, the first step was when he got Siri, and he just fell in love with her voice.
I like Siri. Nice lady. I wish I could get a date with her. Well, my wife wouldn't give me,
Well, go see the movie Her, and maybe Siri will call up a call girl for you.
Yeah, I don't know. My wife, every time I says, let me talk to Siri, she won't let me.
No, she's smart. I think she programmed her own voice in now.
All right. Have you been listening to the show?
Hey, Mark, you diversified in your stocks?
Excuse me?
Are you diversified in your stocks? It looks like we're going downhill here.
Yes. So what did we go down? I know Friday we went down over 300 points. There was some hope for today because when the market opened, of course they're going by the Japanese market and European markets. There was hope that it would go up. I don't know what happened today.
I think it ended down, but I yell. This is just open talk, obviously. But I yell my parents. This funny thing, like they should be quoted. The stock market said about China as far as them going downhill because Americans are saying, don't buy Chinese products anymore. Don't buy.
Dow Jones were down 41 points.
It was down 41 points, Dan, today. Well, that's not.
Which is really nothing.
But the newscaster said from CNN that a lot of people are saying that consumers are saying don't buy anything with China, which just hurts us anyway. That's a complicated situation. Maybe a topic for another show, but it's hard.
Well, I have a friend of a family. Well, actually, an in-law who predicted Enron going down, and he made not millions but billions of dollars on Enron going down. He also told the government that Enron's going to go down. He also testified in the committees about it. He's a billionaire, and he said 10 years ago China's going to go down. Don't invest in China. The bubble's not going to last.
Yeah, but we owe China so much money. I mean, what happens if China decides to call in our note?
Right. Well, that's right.
They'll
Exactly.
be broke.
Right. What happens when that happens?
They'll be broke.
Yeah. Or what happens if China doesn't? Where we are China's greatest investor. They have given us so much money that I shudder to think what would happen if they called in the note.
And we've built so many plants for them in China. I'm sure if they take over all the American plants, it'll probably be equal.
I'm gonna end on a funny note with this whole football stuff with the Super Bowl coming our way. Before I depart here, I find it so funny that how it's being held at MetLife, in Jersey. Now these people flying in know that they're not going to New York. A lot of people. I mean, I listen to a lot of radio stations by driving to work, and a lot of people don't realize it's not New York City. They're not going to New York. They're going to New Jersey.
Well, I have to tell you, my sister works in Manhattan, and she said today at lunchtime when she was out, she said she had never seen New York so crowded because there are many, I mean, today's the day, that people are going to start, the big companies have, hotel rooms booked for the whole week. So, more and more people are coming in. It's just there was like no walking space almost at all, for a work day.
Well, right. Well, now the ticket price was $2,500 a seat. Now it's down to $1,500. I'm torn because I like it, the Super Bowl being here. At the same time, you got, like the news says, you got two West Coast states coming to New York, which I think is New York, is New Jersey. So, everyone's like, why pay all this money? They have the airfare. I mean, they're saying average ticket is about $1,500 to $2,000. And these people have the hotel rooms, airfares, entertainment and whatnot. It's like $5,000 a person, basically, what they say.
Well, it's a boom for New York and New Jersey.
That's true.
Sadly, these people from the West Coast, if they're coming in, I mean, they don't realize they're sitting in not dump lands, but New Jersey. They can look at New York City, but they don't have to travel over there. They go have fun.
Well, listen, don't dump New Jersey. We got Governor Christie.
I got a lot of family in New Jersey, but where they're going.
What I just say is, I said we have the Governor Christie.
Hey, listen, I understand that it's so bad with tourists that Siri can't even call up a prostitute to come and visit you because they're already booked for the whole week.
Right. I'm talking through the commentators on news. I hear, they're saying people are flying in from all over the country, thinking they're going to. A lot of people didn't realize that it's not New York you're going to. You're going to New Jersey, and then once you're there, where do you go?
Well, the teams are staying in Jersey, but
right.
As far as the companies that have rented these suites and people, they prefer Manhattan because it's really it's not a long trip from Manhattan to the Meadowlands, and I'm sure they're going to have special buses anyway for them, So I mean, the bottom line, and Governor Christie assures us that the bridge is going to be available. So,
but he didn't say about the tunnel.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
The problem is we're not going to be using the bridge. They're going to be using the tunnel.
I know. But like Felix said, it is a big boom for businesses in Manhattan, especially, but also Jersey, and there is a big interest, even though it's West Coast teams, because Peyton Manning, Peyton's brother Eli plays for the Giants.
Of course.
So and the Manning family in football is the equivalent of the Kennedy family in politics.
And there's a good chance this may be Manning's last year too.
No, I read an article today where he's quoted as saying that he wants to come back. The Super Bowl will not be his last game.
I heard that.
Now he's coming off a fantastic season.
Yeah.
Okay. When you talk about in the past, he had that one season when he had surgery, and I think he tried to come back toward the end of the season when he was still with Indianapolis, and it was a bust. Okay, and that was when they got Andrew Luck and they traded him to Denver. But I think he will try to come back. Whether or not he can achieve the success that he did this season remains obviously to be seen. The teams that wind up in the Super Bowl always wind up with the toughest schedule next year anyway. So he'll have a tough schedule, and as a 37, 38-year-old, I mean, playing in Denver, okay, how physically fit could he be, I mean, he could fall down and hurt himself, and that's it, So,
Dr. Mark, what's just sad is that, what's sad is that there's no New York team going to Jersey. That's what stinks. I hate that.
Well, you're 100% right, and I'm sure when Donald Trump first put the bid in to have the Super Bowl brought here 2 or 3 years ago when they finally did this,
right.
He was hoping for a New York Giant or Jet team to represent, to be one of the teams, representing New York.
He was hoping it would be 2 New York teams.
And you know something? I know a lot of people will point to the Giants' record and say it was horrendous. It was terrible.
It was terrible.
They started at 0. They started at 0-6. If you take away those 6 losses, the last 10 games they were 7-3. Okay,
oh, okay.
7-3. Even if they would have split the first 6 games, a 10-6 record would have been good enough to get them into at least a wild card. Okay? So, I mean, granted, a few of those games were blowouts. They had no chance. But a couple of those games, they lost in the end. So, I mean, if they could have split those 6 games and won at least 3 of them, they might have had a chance.
And if I won the lottery, I'd be a millionaire, but it means nothing.
No, you're right.
Mark,
I know it means nothing.
Mark, the only thing I'm happy about is that the Patriots are not going to stomp on our grounds. That's what I'm happy about. Patriots not going to be there. I'm happy about that. Because if they win Super Bowl, I'll be so pissed.
And a lot of people don't like Bill Belichick. Okay,
right.
They don't like his style. So look, I'm just happy for Peyton Manning and for the Broncos and for Pete Carroll.
Did you, Mark, you money on the games?
No, I'm not a better.
Me neither.
The only time I ever would...
I did bet, but I'm not really a bettor on these games. But you have to. Makes it more.
When I was teaching, we used to, they used to have boxes.
Yeah.
$10 a box. So I would take 3 or 4 boxes, and put my name down, and hopefully I'd be able to win something. Usually it was done by the gym department because those guys were the only guys who ever knew how to figure those things out.
And they could cheat without you knowing.
It's true, they could.
I think.
But anyway,
and you guys give me a P.O. box, guys, some holes, drops or something.
What was that?
I said, give me your P.O. box address.
Holes.
I'm going to send you some holes. Drop
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't take cough drops. Suck on them while you're doing the show.
I should. I really should.
Well, guys, I'm sorry now.
I
It's a lot of your time up.
Hey, Dan, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
Dan, did you listen to the show from the? Did you listen to the show from the beginning?
Yeah. You were. I couldn't get you for. I guess 9:15. You went on.
No, 9:30.
Oh, well, 9:15. All right. I heard the whole thing.
Did you hear where Dr. Mark apologized to you?
Well, not to me. Yeah, it was heard.
Oh, it wasn't to you? Oh, I thought it was to you. I thought maybe he insulted you.
No.
No, okay, good.
Let's just leave it at this. It was heard.
Okay.
It was
Great.
You know, I wanted to make sure that the right person got to hear it. That's all. You know, and the person should know that he's missed, and we appreciate his input, just like we appreciate your input. In fact, if it wasn't for you now, we'd have nobody calling in.
Yeah. It's very hard to get a caller in on live radio stations.
It was heard.
Well, I know that. Well, I knew that this show, you know, once we mention artificial insemination, you know, a lot of people's ears are going to perk up.
Yeah.
Until Felix corrected me, you know, and said that it was intelligence. But,
well, you know,
although I have to tell you, any intelligence that I have is all artificial anyway. So, you know,
well,
I fit right in.
The artificial insemination is the robot giving the artificial insemination to the human being.
Well, now that depends.
By the way, Felix, those pictures are very disturbing on your website. Very disturbing.
What did you say?
Very
He says
disturbing.
my pictures are very disturbing. Well,
If I
this
have
is what
any-
it is. Artificial insemination, isn't it?
I take no credit for that. That's all Felix. You know,
Oh,
at least one thing I can say for myself, I have taste. You know, what can I tell you?
Yeah, I won't say what kind of taste you have, but you have taste.
Better than yours.
If I have any weird dreams tonight, Felix, I'm blaming you tomorrow on those pictures.
Well, you know,
but
well,
you look,
it's
your
supposed to be.
apology was heard and not needed, but it was heard, and
Okay.
all right, well, you know, we appreciate it.
All right, we're not sure what we're doing Friday, but I think if, you know, I left the papers home, but I have, you know, about the Super Bowl. A good part of Friday is
well,
going to be
I was
discussing
going to
the Super
invite
Bowl.
the robots to call us in and tell them how they feel about what we spoke about.
Well, I think they're in sleep mode right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, even though they don't need sleep, but they're in a sort of sleep mode, you know?
There is, so that's...
Anyway.
I want to hear from one of those robots.
Guys, look, have a great night. We appreciate what you did. It was a great show. I talked too much.
And you as well.
All right, guys.
No,
talk to you later.
You always talk just enough.
We enjoyed very much.
And let me tell you, you diversified your
repertoire.
Conversation today. Yeah. You know, a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I tell my wife the same thing, but it doesn't work.
And I think more and more people are going to fall in love with Anne Hathaway's voice, you know, from that movie.
Now, one thing, did you notice how the quality of the show was today? Not really, didn't get a chance.
Me, our official AI?
Was it clear?
No. Was the show clear for when you started listening to it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, great. That's important because, you know, we've had some issues with
yeah,
quality.
More than once we've asked you to call back, or we would call you, because at least either you or one of us was unintelligible.
Yeah.
You know.
But I'll tell you, since we got all this fancy
whoa. Is it unintelligible? Or what'd you say?
Yeah.
Unintelligible?
No, that's the wrong word.
Yes.
That's the wrong word, Mark. I'm not
it
intelligent. Hey, look, how much is gas in Sochi?
I don't know. When I was there, I did everything by foot.
No, it's $1.45 a ruble.
No, but you know something, really, when you think about it, you talk about gas. Americans complain, okay, but I know that you and certainly your dad, you know, could very easily say. I mean, in Europe, it's like $7-8 a gallon for gasoline. In Israel, it's pushing $10 a gallon or something to that effect, you know. That's because Moses made a left instead of a right. You know, if he would have turned the other way, all those oil wells could have been ours.
Well, the thing is, Europe does have worse gas prices, but they also don't have gas guzzlers like us.
They don't have gas guzzlers, that's right.
Why did Bush push us on wars and to save us a nickel on a gallon, whatever? Why did he push us on that? We got more prices on gas. Why did he do that for? when
Well,
the
because
war.
someone had to pay for his wars. Which brings me, I know I shouldn't do this, but I was talking about it at lunch today with a friend of my son's. Cheney promised us that the war in Iraq would pay for itself because of Saddam Hussein's billions of dollars that are just sitting there. All right. Well, I don't know what happened to it, but it was all put on America's credit card. And the bottom line is we're still paying for those wars, and we'll continue to pay for those wars even after we get out of Afghanistan. And
we're going to continue to pay.
The sad problem is, because I was having lunch with one of my son's friends who went to West Point, and he was over there. He was a captain. The lives that were lost for absolutely nothing. Okay? Young men and women who went over there who wanted to do the right thing and believed in the government and believed in the country and what they were saying, and it was all a farce.
Well, I'll put it this way, Mark. The last war that actually may have done something is South Korea.
Now, if you watch enough MASH, you know that the bottom line is that was an unnecessary war as well.
No, we saved South Korea.
We did save South Korea, yes.
That's the last war that we did anything that was of any value at all. And obviously before that, World War II. And that's it. All these skirmishes and wars that we've been in, and there's been so many in the Caribbean, South America, here, there, everywhere. Guess what? Nothing changes.
If you stop to think,
what do we do in Vietnam? Nothing.
Who are two of our biggest allies? Germany and Japan. Who did we fight in World War II? Germany and Japan.
Yep. And who was our biggest ally? Russia at the time.
Well,
one of our big.
Well, that was out of necessity.
Yeah.
For them, that's the only reason.
Of course. My whole point is, we're wasting billions of dollars on all these wars. Maybe the libertarians are right. Bring everybody home and screw the rest of the world.
I think you guys are wrong. I think Morocco was our biggest ally. Morocco.
Play it again, Sam.
Morocco probably was a good ally of ours.
Yeah, play it again, Sam.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I
think it's just.
I don't want to take up all the airtime, but
I think it's time to go get.
Time. I love talking to you.
Very well.
Who's that guy? Ron Paul? Is that the libertarian?
Well, that was the father. This is Rand Paul, the son, now.
Oh,
yeah,
he's taken over for his father.
Is he also a libertarian?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh, good. I like him. I like his father. He was.
Well, Ron Paul, I gave $25 to his campaign. So.
Well, Ron.
The reason Ron Paul had such a backing amongst young people was because he was against all war. He didn't want to see any Americans fighting for somebody else.
Yeah. Because
the bottom line is they weren't protecting any of our interests. Not at all.
Yeah. You see, but he loses. Actually, he lost because he was nuts, not because of his policies.
Well, he also wanted us to go on a gold standard.
Yeah.
He wanted, states' rights, where every state was like
a mini country.
It was like a Greek city-state. If you remember your
small country.
You remember your world history, your medieval history. In Greece, the city-states, every city-state was a kingdom. And they had their own money. They had their own government. In this day and age, you can't do that.
You're doing it right now in Europe.
You see, but you can't do it because, it's funny. We all joke about seeing these signs that say men at work when you're on the throughways and everything, But the bottom line is, as you go from state to state, one state may be working on throughway improvement and the other state isn't. So, and who's paying for it? There's certainly not enough tax dollars to do this stuff. So you have to get money from somewhere, and they get it from the government. So they say they want states' rights, but they still have their hands out.
No, listen, if the government collect less then the state could collect more. I mean, it's the same money.
New York always pays an exorbitant amount to the federal government in taxes, and we don't get anywhere near that back.
I know.
I mean, even the cities upstate.
That's a good point for libertarianism.
The cities upstate, the small cities, and even the big cities like Rochester, Syracuse. They don't get as much money as New York City gets, but they pay basically the same state tax. Okay, they're complaining because their money is coming down to the city here, and they're not seeing enough of it themselves.
Listen,
well,
unfortunately,
I definitely took a lot of your time up, but you know what? I'm watching CNN now. They got the Tea Party on TV on CNN. I want to watch this stuff. It's great. I love this stuff.
Go ahead. Go
Okay.
All right, guys. Over and out. Love talking to you guys. We'll talk about
the feeling is mutual. Feeling is mutual, Dan.
All right. Well, thank you again.
I'm
and
sure
we're gonna run out. We're gonna run out and go see that movie.
Go see it. It's a weird one, but you'll relate to it. It's a weird one, but as far as the AI, it's weird. All right, guys. Over and out.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
We have been on for almost an hour.
Yeah. Boy, that
Dan's been on for an hour before.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Dan, we'd have, nothing. Yeah.
Well, listen, we're having fun with artificial insemination and intelligence and all that. And like he said, Dan was thought I was a little too forthcoming with those pictures that I...
Well, in all honesty, I did not look at them too carefully. I was busy trying to proofread what you had written and correct your spelling. Okay.
Well, that's what you're here for.
Oh, well, I realize that. Now at least I know how to do it.
That's why I got you to do it. I made the mistakes on purpose so you would change them.
You do it on purpose, right?
This one I did, yeah.
Intelligent,
yeah.
Exactly.
I did it, that one on purpose.
On purpose?
On purpose, I believe.
POIPUS. On purpose.
On purpose.
Okay.
I believe that you probably don't even... Yeah, I figured...
You're right, I don't. But if there's anybody else out there, remember it's 646-595-3275. Artificial intelligence. Do you think that we have gone too far or we are on the road to go too far? The fact that, with the GPS chip that's in all the new cars and the NSA listening and, and Edward Snowden, et cetera, is all this necessary?
And listen, I got a question for you. When you were in Sochi, right?
No, we already said I wasn't there, remember?
When you were in Sochi.
Oh, okay.
Sochi, excuse me. When you were in Sochi, in your way of traveling, did you? You said you got a chance to meet Snowden.
Yes, I did.
Now, do you think he's a traitor or a hero?
No, he's not a hero. He's not a traitor. I think he acted out of good intentions. I think that he'll probably have to face some sort of punishment. I don't think that right now, the government is in any forgiving mood where, they would grant him blanket amnesty and just come back.
Well, I don't think he's going to come back, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I think he would like to because, he has family here. It's interesting, however, that Jeff Greenwald, the man that Snowden was working in concert with, is in Brazil, and he can't come back because something about government sanctions against him for helping Snowden decide which bits of information to release. It all went through him. So, Is he a hero? No. He opened up Americans, plural, eyes to what the government was actually doing. I mean, it's like before we knew that the government was listening in, but it's like a patient who thinks they have cancer, and all the signs are there that you have cancer, but until the doctor tells you definitively, yes, you have cancer, there's always that little bit of hope that maybe you made a mistake and you're wrong.
Exactly.
Okay? And with Snowden, it was like we knew that this was going on. We didn't know to what extent it was going on. Okay? But the bottom line is, then the doctor came in and said, this is what's going on. I mean, they're listening to our conversations.
I imagine all those foreign dignitaries that we were tapping in and there.
No, Angela Merkel. Germany, for one, I mean, really.
And we're talking about allies.
I think it would have been more interesting to tap in on the French prime minister, with all of his trysts and love affairs going on. That might have been a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I was listening today and talking about love affairs. In moments of how should we say it? Moments of passion where you just walk off to the wrong direction for a few minutes. I understand now. They're saying that Mr. Obama has had quite a few of those indiscretions.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
I
mean,
I heard it.
I know that there are people out there. His supporters and backers say, like one thing you can't say about him is you can't say he's not a good family man.
Wow.
And the Republicans or the people who are out to get him, will say just about anything.
That's true. I agree with you.
I mean, they'll say just about anything to rile him and get him upset. All right.
Well, they were talking about.
I think his marriage is a lot more sturdy than Michelle Bachmann and her husband. From Twinkle Toes.
From my unidentified sources, which I can't divulge.
Oh, Siri?
He during the birthday party for his dear wife, he had a big one, right? 500 guests.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay, it was supposed to be a sit-down dinner, and he and Mrs. Obama changed it to no dinner, just a dance and a cocktail hour, basically like that type of thing, so she wouldn't have to sit next to him. And Mr. Obama was very upset about that.
No,
wait a second, I'm not done. Then you can say whatever you want.
All right.
She also banned all cameras from being there. So there's no lovey-dovey pictures taken of them.
She was upset with that selfie that he was taking with the Prime Minister of Holland, that gorgeous blonde.
Yeah.
The fact that, because if you remember that picture, it showed her sitting like a seat back, and she had a real scowl and frown on her face, and he was having a jolly old time smiling it up,
Yeah, of course. She never had American beef before.
What?
So she never had American beef before.
Oh, well.
That's just dirty.
Let's not get vulgar now, I mean, like I said, that all this should be beneath you, Felix,
There's nothing beneath me.
Beneath you, yes. I'm very disappointed.
But the other thing they were talking about is also she's planning on doing some facial work on herself. This has been talked about. There's no secret that she's going to have some work done on her. You know about that?
Well, I know that in the case of Priscilla Presley, for one, and Kenny Rogers for another, the jobs that they had done on their face are terrible. You know, Kenny Rogers' eyes are awful. Priscilla Presley can't even smile. She is, her skin is stretched so.
Yeah, but but a lot of people had very good work done on them. So.
Well, if you're talking about that Life Lift, where they show these women, they very rarely show men, but they have shown a couple of women who are like 72 and they look like they're about 60.
Yeah,
it truly is amazing.
Almost most actors and actresses have had some kind of a cosmetic surgery. That's pretty well known, and these days it's much more subtle and it's not as noticeable.
Well, you see, I come to my good looks naturally.
Exactly. But she's planning on doing about $50,000 worth of work on herself.
No, as long as it comes out of his bank account and not the.
And she's buying herself $50,000 new wardrobe.
Oh, what this sounds like? This sounds like the Jewish joke. You ever hear the Jewish joke? Husband dies and leaves the wife money, and she has $50,000 for a facelift. She has a nose job. She goes out and buys clothes. God tells her, she's going to have a nice long life. What happens? She goes to cross the street. She gets hit by a car and she dies. He says to God, "You lied to me. You said I was going to live forever." He said, "Well, you did so much work on yourself, I didn't recognize you." Well, whatever.
$50,000 on face, $50,000 on clothes. Barack Obama is moving in. After this, this is my prediction. After the term is over, Barack Obama is going to move to Hawaii. And who's his buddy there?
I don't know.
No, the one that's that went to jail. I forget his name. He had a buddy that went to jail that helped him out.
I don't know.
That helped him buy the house in Chicago.
Oh, right. Okay. The one that Sarah Palin kept calling a terrorist. Yes, I know who you're talking about. I just don't remember his name.
Well, he served some time in jail.
Right.
And now he's out of jail and he has a house in Hawaii. Barack is moving there. His wife is going to stay in Washington till his two kids are done with school, and then she's going to move into New York, where she wants to live.
Well,
And they will be living happily ever after, separated or divorced.
If you could make it here, you could make it anywhere, just like Frank Sinatra would say, New York, New York,
So how's that for my prediction? And I expect everybody to...
like all of your other predictions, I think they're going down the toilet.
Down the toilet? No, nothing of mine goes down the toilet.
No, guess again.
Wasn't nice, Mark.
Be careful who you point fingers at, I mean, really. Next thing you know, the hounds of the Baskervilles are going to start.
The problem is...
Felix.
The NSA is listening to me.
Is that why you did that?
That was just for them.
I mean, I know you had spicy pad thai for dinner.
Yeah.
But, that I don't know. I tell you one thing. You're not going to attract any artificial intelligence this way.
Hey, listen. No artificial intelligence is going to come near us.
That's very true. Very true.
They won't know what to say
or
how to deal with us.
In any event, ladies and gentlemen, I have to go feed the dogs. So,
anyway.
And I think...
But wait.
What? There's more?
There's more.
Well, let's not overstay our welcome now.
Just wait. I'm going to open up the door to the club and see who's out there to come in to visit. Maybe we'll have a guest. Yeah. Excuse me while I walk out and check out the people. So far, So far I got 4 fingers pointing straight up at me. Close it back up. I got a response. They're not letting me shut the door either. I can't get rid of it. Shut the door. Help me. Oh, when did it shut it? You can't have people. I think I'm gonna have to. All right, boys, go get him. Come on, let's go get him. Dogs are. Good job.
Ouch. We have to bring them in and feed them, you know.
Well, one of them just fed off me. Ooh. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for listening to our show.
It's been a pleasure serving you.
Remember, beware of artificial insemination. It may get you one day.
Artificial intimidation?
Intimidation, artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence. Yeah, make sure you get it right.
Just remember, no intelligence is better than artificial intelligence.
Okay, if you say so. You're the boss, I'm only the intern.
No, just remember, the stupider you are, the better you are.
Yeah, because the stupider you are, the smarter we sound. All right, folks, thank you very much for listening. We appreciate it, and we'll be back on Friday.
Have a good night. Thank you for listening.